testing. Okay, so are we good? It seems like we're good. It's recording. It reset the time. Okay. Hello, friends. It is I, Joey, and I hope you can hear me okay. So, basically, I'm going to be doing some E3 predictions because that's what I do. Decided to do it in a video format this time and couldn't find any good webcam capture software. So, I'm just gonna play a game while I talk about my E3 predictions. So let's, Destiny. Yeah, Destiny. Okay, so I figure now would be a decent time to start the E3 predictions, given that Sony finally announced that their E3 will be in theaters this year. Again, 4 years in a row now, so that's pretty tight. And the sequel to this was just announced, and it is one of my most anticipated games of the year. So I've decided to do this in chronological order, so, the order of the conferences, because that makes sense in my head. Hopefully it makes sense in yours. So I'll start with EA, then Microsoft, Bethesda. I don't care about the PC Gaming Conference, so I'm not even touching that. PC gamers don't even care about the PC Gaming Conference, so whatever. Then Ubisoft, Sony, and then Nintendo. Yeah, that's correct. So EA, they've got this weird EA Play thing that's separate from E3, but it's an E3 conference. They're just not presented by the whatever. You know what I mean. And everybody laugh at my light level. It's fine. I get it. But anyway, EA usually pretty basic. They try. They keep it exciting to the best of their ability, but we're going to get sports. We're going to get just a disgusting amount of sports. We're going to get FIFA, Madden, whatever. But that's not what I care about. What I care about is probably the Star Wars games. And we know they're going to have those. So at the very least, they're going to have Battlefront 2. Probably, into the future a little bit, but I'm betting like a single-player demo, A's conference, and then maybe a multiplayer demo at Sony's conference. That makes sense to me. I, take that as you will. But EA also has plenty of other stuff as well. They have, the what I can only hope to be Star Wars 1313, the game that Visceral is working on. And Visceral, they made Dead Space, so you take a company who basically only has experience in third-person shooters. You take the creative director from basically the entire Uncharted series and put her as the lead on it, and, a canceled game that everybody wanted that was basically Star Wars Uncharted. It really seems like the stars are kind of aligning on this one, so I'm really, really hoping for a Star Wars 1313. We got, the briefest fucking clip last year, but it wasn't really anything substantial, so I'm really hoping for something more on that front this year. Hold on. Yeah, that. Okay. That. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even know there was a. That's cool. Okay. Sorry. But yeah, so I'm hoping to see more of that. I'm also hoping to see a little bit of Respawn's Star Wars game. They've never made a third-person action game, which is what we've been told Visceral's Star Wars game is. So I am pretty excited about that. Titanfall 2 was my favorite game last year, mostly because of my movement fetish, but also giant robots, and that campaign was radical. So really hoping for at least a tease of that, because I think that's supposed to come out next year? No, Respawn's game is 2019, so we're getting Battlefront 2 this year, then Visceral's 1313 next year, and then Respawn's in 2019. So, I'm not like holding my breath for Respawn's, but I wouldn't be surprised. Going into the next day, we have Microsoft. Now, those of you who know me, not the biggest fan of Microsoft. I'll own up to it. It's fine. But I do think their E3 has some potential to it. I mean, the majority of it will certainly be dedicated to the Scorpio, which is fine, I guess. But, I mean, they need games. Like, the PlayStation 4 has not outsold the Xbox almost 2-1 because of, more power. I mean, that helped, at least initially, but, let's be real here. That's not it. So we're certainly going to get a lot of Scorpio, but I am really hoping for a something good there. I mean, we're gonna see more Sea of Thieves. That much is certain. We're going to see, I don't know, maybe a new Banjo-Kazooie. I feel like Microsoft actually has a lot of decent IPs that they're just really not doing anything with. I mean, they have Banjo-Kazooie, they have Blinks, everyone's favorite game. They have Grabbed by the Ghoulies. They have all sorts of stuff, and I really think it would behoove them to renew some of those and bring them back into the public eye, especially with the lack of exclusives that Xbox has right now. I mean, they've had one exclusive through the course of the Xbox One that has a Metacritic rating of over 90. I think that's Forza Horizon 3. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I know most things. I don't know everything. Don't hate me. But, so I'm hoping for good stuff there. I do think that to more casual buyers, though, it will be a very hard sell, because the Scorpio, like the PS4 Pro, is made for, like, the super hardcores. To the casual buyers, moms buying shit for their kids for Christmas or whatever, because it's supposed to come out in the holiday. God damn it, they ignited our Rift. I would say that it'll be a difficult sell, because, if a mom sees 4K on these boxes and, Scorpio costs $500 to $600, because if they don't want to sell it at a loss, then that's what it'll cost, and it'll still probably be sold at a loss at that point. The specs in it are pretty nuts. But they see 4K on that box, and they see 4K on the PS4 Pro box, but the PS4 Pro is $300 by that point, $350. It'll probably have a price drop this holiday, but the Scorpio costs that much. That is going to be very difficult to get into the hands of the casuals, the people who do provide a weird amount of the money to these companies. So we'll see regarding that, Oh, sniped. As for Bethesda, I'm not the biggest fan of Bethesda games. I think they're a great publisher, but I think they are a garbage developer. I think they are incredibly lazy and are really just trying to make a quick buck. As far as Bethesda made games, the Elder Scrolls series, the Fallout series, all that. But they do publish some really good stuff, and because of that, I'm really, really holding out for a new Wolfenstein, because the New Order and the Old Blood DLC were both fucking phenomenal. So I'm hoping for that. Wow, you know it's bad when I'm in third. Yeah, really holding out for that. They said that there's going to be 2 unannounced games at their E3. So I'm thinking new Wolfenstein and then maybe Evil Within 2. Could be a new IP, but I'm not counting on it. Bethesda is one of the more experimental developers with their new IP, or at least IP that don't really get that much attention. I mean, just look at the new Prey. That's practically a new IP. Like, it technically isn't, but it is, you know. So I'd be excited about either of those. I think both of those would be ideal. you know. Mm-hmm. Damn it. So we got that. And then Ubisoft. Ubisoft is the next day. Ubisoft is incredibly interesting to me this year because practically everything they've talked about, or that they did talk about rather last year, has come out. For Honor came out. Ghost Recon Wildlands came out. The Division still exists. Watch Dogs 2 came out. You know, so probably For Honor DLC, I'd suppose. I think that's a decent bet. Goddamn, 6 Abalash. Go you. Oh, it's fine. Trade. But we're going to get the new Assassin's Creed, which I am beyond excited for. I'm a big Assassin's Creed fanboy, and I appreciate them and support them for taking a break from the series this past year. It needed it, but I really want a new Assassin's Creed. I really want a new mainline big Assassin's Creed. And with all of the rumors that have come out about this new one, supposedly Assassin's Creed Origins, which is a lame-ass name, granted, but it's fine. It's fine. Oh God, I'm saying I'm a lot. First video, I have an excuse. So we got that. South Park, I don't know if they'd talk about that, because that's been at the last 2 E3s now, and granted, it does finally have a release date, which is exciting. I got an encrypted engram. And I completed a book thing. Woo! There's a mosquito in here. So I'm really hoping for some new good shit from them. Ubisoft gets a lot of flack, which I do understand, but I'm a big fanboy. I mean, they make good IP. Their developers are great, the business side of them. Little wonky sometimes, I'll admit. Ooh, look at you, but you're not a hand cannon, so I don't really care. See this? No, that's a scout rifle. Fuck scout rifles. Excuse me. But yeah, I am expecting some really good stuff. I think now would be the time for a new Prince of Persia or even a Splinter Cell would be super dope. But again, like some other games I've talked about, like the Respawn Star Wars game, I'm not really holding my breath. We are certainly going to get new details regarding the quote-unquote leaked game that people found in Watch Dogs, which I thought was hilarious. That game is so meta and great. Um, so we're gonna see that. It looked like a weird Ubisoft No Man's Sky type thing. It's really unclear. I'm really excited to finally get some answers about that because it's been by the time E3 rolls around, it'll have been a while since Watch Dogs 2 came out, and that leaked game seems to have exited the public eye. So I'm excited about that. Uh, Ubisoft makes good stuff. I will always stand by Ubisoft. I really hope Vivendi doesn't buy them out, but that's another tangent. Okay, never did that, but whatever. I'll take it. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm expecting from Ubisoft as far as Sony goes. You guys, the people who are most likely to watch this, know that I'm a big Sony fanboy. I'm not apologetic about it. That's just the way it is. So this year I'm really excited for. People have been kind of sleeping on Sony's E3 this year, which I think is a good thing. Push Square actually made an article about that, and I've talked quite a bit with Joe about our expectations from this E3. I think probably they're going to open it with something big. Who knows what they'll open it with? I mean, last year they opened it with a brand new God of War with a new camera angle and basically a new Kratos, and it was insane, and it was a live demo. And the year before that they opened with fucking The Last Guardian, and we're like, look, it exists, and it was just completely insane. So I'm definitely excited about whatever they open with. But then I think probably a lot of the beginning, because they'll want to end with a bang. So I think a lot of the beginning will be catching up with games that they've announced over like the last 2 years. Like I think it'd be, or things that sort of align with stuff they've announced over the last 2 years. Like I think it would be insane if Sony got to announce a Shenmue HD collection at this year's E3. That would completely blow everyone out of the water. Like just that. If they showed footage of Shenmue 1 and 2 running, even if it's just like an upscale with fixed controls, it would be complete insanity. But so that'd be cool. Or even just an update on Shenmue 3. It's been a while. I donated to the Kickstarter. I donated $60 so I could get a physical copy for my PS4 so that I'll have physical copies of all 3 Shenmue games. But catch up on God of War, catch up on maybe give a release date for Detroit Become Human. That game looks amazing. I know Quantic Dream and David Cage in particular get a lot of heat because their games are fucking weird, which I get, and like Beyond Two Souls was a massive disappointment, but Heavy Rain is still 100% one of my favorite games from the last generation. So I think it's fine. So, and Detroit just looks phenomenal. So, an update on Spider-Man would be amazing. I think a lot of people are expecting an update on that. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a Christmas release. Sort of aligns with the Blu-ray release of, was it Spectacular Spider-Man? This new one, I think. That would make a lot of sense, sort of like how the Mad Max game came out on the same day that Mad Max Fury Road came out on Blu-ray. I think that would make a lot of sense, even though they're not tied together, but, just sort of a connection there. So lots of catch-up, lots of third-party stuff. There will probably be a little bit of Destiny 2. I don't think there will be much, but I do think that Sony's conference would be where they'll announce the beta release date, because that beta is incredibly anticipated. So it would be a relatively big deal if they announced that there. Call of Duty World War II, Battlefront 2. Like I said, I kind of anticipate a multiplayer demo or trailer or whatever at Sony's E3 because they are cooperating again this year. So that'd be cool. I'm really stoked about Battlefront 2. It sounds and looks amazing. The first Battlefront wasn't great, but it definitely had a lot of potential, and it seems like DICE was kind of rushed. But now they have so much support from so many other teams. They got Motive working on the campaign, and I think that's being like co-written by one of the lead writers from Spec Ops: The Line, which is an amazing game. And they've got Criterion, the guys who made the Burnout games, working on the vehicle handling. So for space battles, for pod racing, pod racing, yeah, that's right. Yeah, what's up? So that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Yeah. So I think Destiny 2, Battlefront 2, maybe Red Dead. I know that they're co-advertising with Red Dead Redemption 2, so that would make a lot of sense. But I also feel like because Rockstar is Rockstar and they don't need big stage hype, they might just throw out a trailer for that around E3, and it'll kind of shut everyone else down, which sucks because it's going to be good, but oh my god, I just got shit on so crazy hard. So that's that. For the end, they'll want to finish it with a bang, like I said. So, announcement of new exclusives, which, who fucking knows with Sony, dude? Like I said, with their intros, the last 2 years have been completely sideways and unexpected with what they've announced. And so Sony is an enigma to me, even though I have one of their logos permanently emblazoned onto my flesh. Because I'm a huge nerd and fanboy. Correct. I do think they'll announce a lot of VR stuff. Last year they had to sell VR. This year everyone's into VR. It just needs a few extra reasons for buying it, So some VR stuff. I'd expect a lot of unexpected. That sounds cliche, and it sounded cooler in my head. But, I mean, who saw the Final Fantasy 15 VR thing that still hasn't come out yet being announced? Who saw the Batman Arkham VR getting announced? No one. No one with any of these. So, Oh, that guy waved at me. Sorry, man. That's what I gotta do. But, I think I wouldn't be surprised if Sony announced a new EP. Or IP, rather. I think that'd be really, really radical, because new IPs have actually had kind of an uptick recently, but are still decently rare, though I do think Sony's sort of at the forefront of the new IP game with Death Stranding, Days Gone, Horizon, all that stuff. No. So yeah, the big thing I want from Sony, besides new footage of Game of the Year candidate for sure, Knack 2, PlayStation All-Stars 2, please, maybe someday, please, God, maybe. I want it so bad. And I think now would be such a good time for Sony to release a PlayStation All-Stars 2, because when they released it, when they released the first game, rather, they weren't exactly on the greatest of terms with the gaming community. But now, I mean, what the PS4 has sold 60 million in less than 4 years. It's completely insane. And then the uh, they have so many new characters. They could have like Galahad from the Order 1886, Aloy from Horizon would be amazing and pretty much entirely expected because she's incredible. She's such a good character. Poisoned, boy, poisoned. Sorry. Uh, so you know that'd be amazing. That's what I'm really hoping for. Or Puppeteer 2. Puppeteer is such an underrated IP from Sony, and I mean it came at like the very end, practically, of the PS3 era, and was not marketed that well. But it was a weird game to market, though. I think with such hype for games like Cuphead and stuff like that, there is more of a market for a hardcore platformer like that. That's sort of a dream of mine. I guess, lame as that sounds, but that's what I'm here for, to sound lame and to make educated predictions. Hell yeah. So, you know, I try to keep my pulse on, or my finger on the pulse of Sony as much as possible, but they are such a wild card in the gaming community, like almost as much as Nintendo, but I think Nintendo, or Sony rather, is at least more willing to try new things. Granted, you know, the Switch is funky and ARMS and stuff, you know, but as far as going back and interacting with some of their lost IPs in the way that Sony is trying to do with Crash and seemingly Spyro, based on a post from what I think it was PlayStation Italy. But, you know, so if they announced that, that'd be insane. Pretty much everything they could announce would be insane. I hope they don't drop the ball. I'm really vibing on a three-peat of the Year of Dreams. But I think that's enough of Sony. Nintendo. Nintendo is also a bit of a wild card, like I just said. Oh my god. It's ideally it's just going to be Switch games. The 3DS has been a pretty decent success for them, but if they want to sell the Switch as a handheld as well as a console, then I think it would be incredibly wise of them to start dropping the 3DS around now and sort of put the 3DS making, or 3DS development teams on the Switch, so that the Switch is just having like a really solid flow of games. I expect some decent stuff from them. Hoping Mario Odyssey is going to be there. Obviously, that much we certainly know. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, maybe. They announced that at the Switch reveal back in January. It was January. So that'd be cool. That'd be a big deal. People seem to like Xenoblade and didn't seem to like Xenoblade Chronicles X. I played a little bit of X and wasn't really vibing on it. And it seems like a lot of the hardcore Xenoblade Chronicles fans also weren't super crazy into it. So, for the fans' sake, I hope that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is both at E3 and looks like what the fans want. I want them to be happy. If they were to announce a new Metroid, I think in the public eye, they'd probably win E3, and I super I definitely wouldn't be mad about it. I want them to announce an actual Kirby game instead of those weird Kirby games they announced at that Direct. I don't know. Kirby deserves better. They're doing Kirby dirty, man. They're doing Kirby dirty. That's fun to say. So I'm hoping for some good stuff on that front. Probably a little bit of Splatoon 2, I guess. Yeah, because ARMS comes out in June, Splatoon 2 comes out in July. So just sort of a reminder, like, hey, we got a game besides Zelda coming out for the Switch, you know, really soon, in fact. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. But sort of unnecessary. But, you know, sort of like when Sony was like, hey, remember The Last of Us is coming out this Friday? At their 2013 conference, I believe. Yeah. Got him. Oh my god, I got fucking sniped. So that'd be really cool. F-Zero. Come on, baby, F-Zero. I love F-Zero so much. It's, you know, as a Sony fan, I at least have Wipeout coming out like the week before E3, actually. And then for Nintendo fans, they at least have Fast Remix. You know, that's kind of cool. But having an actual licensed F-Zero after all the years it's been so dormant would be amazing. Thanks, Exia. That's good to know. Oh, we lost. Oh, that's shitty. But that'd be cool. That'd be fucking next level. They'll probably talk about the Zelda DLC, whatever that ends up being. You know, I know a lot of people are hype about that because, you know, pretty much everyone loved Breath of the Wild, but I know a lot of my good friends were sort of disappointed in the story or lack thereof. So if they could sort of flesh out the story with the story DLC coming out this holiday, they say, that'd be pretty tight. But that's pretty much it. I know I rambled a lot, and this video is going to take fucking forever to upload. But I do hope you enjoyed it. My underwhelming Destiny gameplay, and my weird E3 predictions that hopefully end up well. Hopefully the next video is a little more professional, maybe a little better. We'll see. Beginning video, you know. Anyway, bye guys. Thanks for listening, or not.